Hi, you guys. This is Rachel here, the Modern Shaman. Thanks for being with me for another YouTube Q&A video this week. I am glad to be back with you. I just got back from the Grand Canyon, Zion National Park, Bryce Canyon, Glen Canyon. We did Utah, Arizona, Sedona. We did a big tour with my son's 8th grade GT class, and it was fabulous. It was such a special time. So I am soaked up in the energy of the earth and ready to be with you guys this week. If you're new to this channel, I always like to suggest that you go to my website, themodernshaman.net. I have classes there if you'd like to take my masterclass teaching curriculum, as well as my services, just my offerings, my online calendar for when you can book me for personal sessions here in San Antonio in my office or online. So that's always available, themodernshaman.net. All right, let's get started with the question of the week. I should tell you, if you would like your question answered, go to my website, go to the contact form, and then when you put in your information to submit the question, just state that it's for the YouTube channel. Okay, here's the question sent in this week. It says, "Hi Rachel, I had a session with you for my birthday 2 years ago, and I was completely shocked at the pinpointed accuracy when you remote viewed my husband and the specifics of our future." Oh, I love that. I love birthday readings, and thank you for that feedback. "I want to know if you have any suggestions for being able to see the future. I want to save up to take your masterclass because I believe firsthand that you are the real deal, but I can't afford the whole thing." I understand. Any practice or guidance you could give me would help. Awesome. So yes, questions about seeing the future. I do, just as a caveat, you can take that masterclass teaching curriculum module by module, but it is cumulative. So if you can do the masterclass, you would benefit so much more by doing step by step, because first you activate and learn about your psychic gifts and senses and all the different ways that we receive information. So then when you get to the later modules of practicing doing readings and future probabilities, future timelines, this type of reading, then you've had the background of how to call in that information, how to set intention, how to move yourself into that receptivity state. So I get why you say you're saving up for the masterclass. The curriculum itself feeds off of each other, and it is the best way to do it. But yeah, I can give you some hints that you can practice just every day. If you have been with me for a while on this channel, you know that I believe that everyone is capable and has psychic abilities. I do not think it's some miraculous ability. I believe that it is our soul's way of communicating, and we are spirit and soul before we come into form. So it is our native ability. It is our ancient pre-physical form connection with all things. So you are absolutely capable of perceiving and communicating with the non-physical. I can give you a few different ways to perceive, but that's the first thing that I would say to you is it's not just seeing the future. One of my first modules in the masterclass is about all the psychic senses, because you perceive more than you see. And perception is not just visual, it's also how does it feel? What is the emotional context of the environment, which is empathic awareness. It's also what you hear, what you taste, what you smell, what you just know in terms of your claircognizance. There are many ways that we receive information, like straight on downloads. I don't know where it came from, I just all of a sudden know it. There, like I said, is emotional context to environments where you may not visually see something, but you have perception around an event, a time, a person, a location. So the first thing I will say is that be open to all types of perception. not just the visual. So I'll give you one practice activity. This is simple, but I would suggest that you do it regularly, because the regularity with the practice will give you feedback, and the feedback is what helps to create confidence. A lot of people will take classes and they'll do workbooks, or they'll listen and they'll say, but I just don't have confidence in myself. To me, that means you haven't practiced and gotten feedback from your practice activities. They're practice activities that have no sense of whether you're doing them right or not. And it's not very effective to do it that way, because it doesn't build a sense of confidence in the work that you're doing, whether you can actually perceive a target, or perceive a person. So all that being said, with this practice activity, make sure that you're consistent. All right, so here's the technique I want to teach you. All that you need in terms of materials are a piece of paper and a pencil. If you've been with me for a while, I always recommend graphite or lead-based pencils and paper. Paper has tree energy. It is naturally absorbent, and that kind of grounding quality of the graphite and the minerals of lead or graphite help move the energy into the extra dimensional or the higher dimensional planes that we're using to connect to the etheric realm into our material world. They make it more real, okay? Because we live in this 3D experience. This is really beneficial when you start these practices of getting fluidity, of moving something from the extra dimensional world into the physical world. So I always recommend that you have paper and you have graphite or lead-based pencils. Okay. That's really the only materials. Then just a location that is quiet where you're undisturbed. You can also, if you want to go the extra mile, have a blindfold. And when I teach my classes, I always recommend that you have a blindfold, just to move into kind of deprivation of the physical ability of sight. Because sometimes when we close our eyes, we still see light patterns or movement through our eyelids. So when you secure your eyes, you move into a very clean cut from the physical world of being able to see anything. And it helps with distractions, a little bit like a deprivation chamber. Headphones can do the same thing. If you want to start with noise canceling headphones or earbuds and an eye mask, that can definitely strengthen the turning off of the 3D and going internal into your extrasensory perception, being the dominant form of connection. So that's all you need in terms of preparation. Then you want to sit. I always recommend sitting on the ground, keeping yourself grounded, making sure that your tailbone is connected to the ground, your posture is upright. From here, you relax the body, so you move your physical form into the muscles of relaxation, where your shoulders and your hips are in alignment, and you're in a comfortable position with the pranic tube straight, right, which is in alignment with the vagus nerve, all of your chakras in alignment, the spine, up and down the spine, right? You can say it a lot of different ways. Keeping your body posture erect, but your muscles relaxed. Everything closed, and then moving internal. So you sit here for a second and just relax into this state. When you find yourself into kind of a mindful state of meditative relaxation, then you set an intention. Now from here, you pick an event with a time and a date. Can have people involved also, but you need an event with a time, a date, and person involved. It can be you, but it could be another person. Okay, and this is important. You pick something in the future if we're wanting to practice with the future. I would suggest something a week or two out at the beginning, just because you can verify it really quickly. All right. And I would suggest picking something that has no emotional tone, nothing evocative, right? So nothing that has worry or concern or fear associated with it. You don't want to pick like a medical date when you're going to find out your test results for something you're afraid of. You want to pick something that's happening in the future. Maybe you're going to a get together with friends, a birthday party for a kid, something like this. This can also be something for someone else. If you're not able to do it for yourself without emotional attachment, you can pick something of a friend, or maybe like you know that your daughter, like I said, is graduating, or some event that someone else is close to that you will be a part of or able to verify later on. Okay, with those things in mind, the event, the date, the time, and people or location there, you sit with that intention to go to that date, that location, that event with those people involved, and you just sit. And then you open all of your perception. Remember, it's not just sight. So you sit and you simply receive. And because you're in this relaxed state, it is easier to open receptivity, okay? The strengthened state, where we stand in our sovereign energy, normally we are standing. This is more of an extroverted energy. So if you think of a receiver and a sender, we want to be in a receiving state. The yin, the feminine state, which is an open, soft, intuitive energy. So the muscles are relaxed and open, our cells are open, and we are open to receiving this information. And you simply perceive. What do I see? What do I hear? What do I know? What do I smell? What do I taste? What do I feel? What's the emotional context? And you simply receive, receive, receive. You do this for a while, maybe about 5 minutes. And then you stop, you pick up the pen and the paper, take off the blindfold or the, the noise-proof earbuds. You pick up the paper, and then you stop. You pick up the paper, you take off your blindfold, you take out your earbuds, and you simply write everything you can about what you saw, what you heard, what you felt, what you smelled, what you tasted, what emotional information you received, what downloads you received. No matter what it is, it may simply be colors, it may be some random sounds. You have no judgment. You just write it out, just like this. You just let it all flow. Stream of conscious, it can be drawings if you're an artist, it can be doodles of notes. I saw a swirly, I heard this, I saw something green, I felt a flash of light, I felt some knowledge, I heard a dog bark. It doesn't have to make sense. Whatever you receive, you simply write it down. Then you put it in an envelope and you flip the envelope over and you write on the envelope the event, the time, and the date. You seal it. And if you have a calendar, you put it in that calendar. If you don't have a calendar, you leave it out in the place that you do this practice so that you'll see it in a week's time. Now, after that event happens in the week or 2 weeks from then, you simply open the envelope and verify the information. You get a red pen and you check off everything that was validated. Oh yeah, a car drove by and there was a dog in it barking at us when we were sitting outside picnicking. I did smell those grapes. It was like a really strong grape Jolly Rancher that someone had. I saw grapes. Okay, so you'll be able to validate point for point. Then you just note at the bottom of the page, I got 5 out of 6 things that I noted, whatever it is. Give yourself some numerical data. This, again, just helps build that sense of confidence in yourself and strengthens the ability. There is an energetic power that is amplified when we believe in what we're doing. And so at the beginning, it's going to feel playful and jovial, and this is fine. This is an open energy, and it's fine to feel that way. Then after a while, you will feel a strengthening, a sharpening, and I would encourage you, after a few weeks of doing this, to take it even further. So describe with detail any imagery that you received, right? You can even draw it, or the wrinkles, or what I like to say is zooming in or zooming out. Practice this. Okay, maybe you get a visual of an event happening, or graduation. We'll use that example again. You're in that moment and you practice as if your vision internally is like a camera lens, and you zoom in. I want to go into one character, and then you can even go further. A week later, I want to not only zoom into one character, and get very detailed about them, I want to go inside their eyes. Remember, I have no boundaries from this perception. So what does the inside of their body look like? What does their cells look like? Now, the tricky part of this is that there's only so much you can validate, but it does practice being able to strengthen the ability to focus on what you want to focus on. And when you are in a session or you are doing a reading, it's very helpful to be able to target with a very sharp precision what it is that your client's asking about. They're not just asking about that person. They're asking whether that person likes them or not. And so setting that intention and being able to zoom in to a very specific emotional quality, a very specific thought pattern, a very specific, maybe they have something going on with their liver, a very specific organ. So it is helpful to be able to learn how to zoom in and zoom out. Maybe they want to see how everything flows together. How does this event contribute to something else? So there's even more that we can do later on, but that is a great practice activity that gives you a numerical results that strengthens your confidence and will completely and accurately build your ability to perceive the future. Remember, it's not just seeing, it's perceiving. So I hope that's helpful to you guys. I hope that you were encouraged to truly take your abilities into your own sovereign hands and be encouraged. All right, I'm going to sign off here. I'll be back with you guys next week with another video. Blessings.